Have you ever set up a system that made sense to you and then no one followed it? This doesn't mean that you're disorganized or a failure. Your system just wasn't built for the people using it. Shared spaces require shared thinking, not stricter rules. Today, let's talk about that. If you're a mom who dreams of that homestead life you see on Instagram, but you feel like you'd need an extra 12 hours in your day to make it happen, along with another set of hands, then Simply Living Homestead is for you. Hi, I'm Amanda, wife, mama, and milkmaid. I've learned the secret to simplifying my time and homestead to make room for the moments that matter. If you're ready to get time back in your day, manage your home with ease, and train your children in the way they should go, grab your pitchfork and planner, friend. Let's get to work. Hey friend, I just wanted to let you know, not sure what my coaching sessions are like, but you're curious to know. I have free 15-minute calls where we'll chat through what you're struggling with, whether home routines or time management, and you'll get a feel for how coaching with me works and whether it's a good fit. It's a simple, pressure-free way to explore what working together could look like. Go to simplylivingHomestead.com/chat to book today. Welcome back to the Homestead. Today we're talking about organizing shared spaces when there are different styles in your home. This is the practical follow-up to understanding your organization style. Now we apply it to real rooms. The last couple of weeks we have spent talking about organizing your home, the systems needed to truly be able to reset your home to a baseline on a regular basis, and just general flow and organization of your home. If you haven't listened to those episodes, I encourage you to go listen to the last 2 or 3 below this one, and we will jump right into today's topic. I organize for my family a lot differently than I help my mom organize for hers. My family is a very detailed organizing family. My husband and I both really like details. We like smaller categories. My mom and a large percentage of the people inside her family do not prefer such detailed categories. Now, I do a decent amount of visual organization in my family, in my own home, simply because my husband and my son do have trouble finding things if it's tucked away in a drawer or behind a cupboard. So a lot of times what I will do is, if I do want to tuck it away and out of sight, I will make sure that the organization inside of that space is very clear, and you don't have to open a cupboard and then open a container. The containers are clear and they don't have lids and like that sort of thing, so that it is more visible once the doors do get open. And that helps me with not wanting so much visual clutter, and it helps them in being able to find the things that they want. When I help my mom organize, especially after we did a switch, all the families switched around in our home. We have on our family compound, we have 3 houses, and everybody switched houses to better accommodate the size of family that they had. And when I was going over, and still am going over and helping my mom, one of the things that we do is we do a decent amount of visual organization. And in the spaces, as I mentioned with my family, that we do need to set something behind a door or a cupboard, the goal is to keep things as visible as possible. But a lot of times in my mom's home, we're also sticking things out that I wouldn't normally stick out in my own home. We have things on counters that I wouldn't normally put out on the counters for my own family. The changes are the visibility, the visual clutter, or lack thereof, and how easy it is for the people living in the home to reset it. It's the same type of space, but it's different people living inside it. So we have totally different systems on how that should be set up. The mistake that a lot of times we tend to make, my family included, is that we're organizing for the ideal system, not for the real user. Who are the people that's actually going to be using this space? Shared spaces must be organized for the people who use them, not the system you wish worked. So you're walking into a space and you're ready to organize it. You're ready to tackle that pain point, that hot spot that you've been noticing, that thing that's like really hard to reset in your evening reset or some other time, your tidy routines as you're going throughout your day. It's really hard to reset that space. And you're like, okay, today's the day. We're going to reorganize this space. What are we going to do to make sure that it is actually usable by your family? So the first question we're going to ask is, who uses this space? Is it primarily one person, or does everyone touch this space daily? Who is using this space? If it is a space that only one person or one person touches it the majority of the time, say 75% of the time or more, then you're going to want to organize for that person. That person is the one who is using it. They need to be able to use it well. They need to be able to find their things, and they need to be able to reset it. Oftentimes, if they're really the ones truly using that space, they should be the one resetting it. So we need to organize for that one person. But what if it is a communal space, or it's a space where a lot of the family is using and touching and spending a lot of time in? Well, the default way of organizing is to default to visual and simple. So 2 episodes ago, we talked about the different styles, whether you were visual or hidden, and whether you had simple or detailed organization. If you have a lot of people in your home, or there's a lot of different styles, chances are you're going to default to that visual, simple layout, where you're going to be able to see the majority of the things, and it has big, broad categories. The fewer steps to getting something done is always going to be a benefit. Clear homes for items, containers that are like, this is the things that go into it, is really important to resetting a space so that no matter who is going in there and resetting it, it can be reset. It can be reset by anyone in your home. The hidden detailed systems start breaking down really fast, especially when there are people in your home that don't operate in that way. I mentioned at the beginning that my family does quite a bit more detailed organization than my mom's family does. We still do a decent amount of visual organization. My mom does more. But my family does, like for myself, when I'm organizing, I do a decent amount of visual organization. I'm making sure that things are clearly labeled, that you can see the things. Maybe they're behind a basket, like a darkened basket for my sake, or a door, but it has a clear label on it. When you open up that door, everything is very clearly visible. You're not having to go through more darkened containers to get to it. But I do tend to organize in a much more detailed system than my mother does, because I don't have people in my home right now who need things to be very broad, or they're never going to be able to put it away. Even my 5-year-old kind of tends to put things into more detailed categories. I've been realizing in his bedroom that we could actually use like very specific categories for his different toys and items that he has in his room and in his possession, because it is actually easier for him to put things away if he knows exactly where it needs to go, and we don't have such a big category. But some kids, it's much better for them to just have a couple of big toy boxes where you're like, these are the big items, these are the small items, or, you know, like, what is your classification, but they're a broader classification. Okay, so kind of depending on who is in your space and who is doing the resetting, it's going to depend on how you do that. So the point with that, as a recap, is just if there's a single person doing the majority of the time in that space, you're going to organize for their style, whatever that happens to be. If it's a shared space, you're going to organize for the most visual, most simple organization that you can. So when we are deciding how we do this, 2 questions that we've talked about in a previous lesson, so we're not going to go too deep in, but we're going to mention here is, do you want to find the things quickly and spend more time putting them away, or do you want to put those things away quickly and spend a little bit more time finding them, right? That's going to determine whether you are going to do a simple or a detailed style of organization. And then, do you want to be able to see it, or do you not want that clutter, is going to depend on your visual and hidden. And the thing, again, we'll reiterate here, is that this does depend very heavily on who is resetting the space. If you're the kind of parent who you're never going to have your kids help you do stuff, and you can organize for your style, you absolutely can. I would encourage you to take your kids' preferences into mind. If you want them to help, you can teach them to a certain degree. You can, but how hands-on do you want to be with that, right? It's a lot easier for me to send my son into a room where he knows the categories, they're not quite as detailed, or they're very well defined, and put them away, and he can see them. He is definitely visual. That I'm going to kind of organize things that he is going to help with and he is going to take part in. I'm going to organize those things so that he can help. And it's not like him having to fight against himself every time I tell him to do a job. But also, I am the mom, and so I do get final say. And so a lot of times, even though my family does need more visual things, I find ways to make them less hidden. And one of those ways is to put things behind a door, in a closet, in a cupboard, in something, put it behind a door, but then use clear bins and clear labels on those bins inside that closet, inside that cupboard. So I don't have the visual clutter smacking me in the face all the time, but they know, oh, this item's in this space, and they open it up and it's very easy for them to find it. That can really help when you have, especially if you as the mom want things to be more clutter-free. If you as the mother really want visual things, go all out. Go all out. Just do. There's no right answer here as to what you want to be organizing for. It just tells you how your systems should work. There's a right answer for your family to a certain degree, but it's not like I'm sitting here and going, well, these are the styles and this one is way more important, right? Or, right? Okay. So a couple of tips, we've kind of touched on some of this, but we're going to say them specifically here. A couple of tips to help you as you're looking at your space. How do you organize it? There's the container method. Containers create natural boundaries. They tell you when a space is full, and they can reduce decision fatigue. It is far easier in my son's bedroom if he has containers or a full shelf that is dedicated to a specific item, or a toy box that's just a specific thing, because it is a clearly defined space. And when that box is full, that probably means that we either need to stop buying that item, not get any more of it, we have enough of it, or we need to prioritize it into a bigger spot and deprioritize something else and reduce that thing. Or, I'm trying to think, I had another thought in my brain. Oh, well. But it'll tell you, when that space is full. That's what it was. So the other thing that a container does is it tells him clearly where that thing is supposed to go. Right? So the container method is really helpful in all of the areas of your home. I think it was last episode I talked about my command center and what is all at my command center, because it's kind of at my entryway. So the command center holds command center things, it holds entryway things, it holds dining room things. It's all in that same space. And containers are really important there. They're really important in my kitchen. I have a ginormous cupboard that's way too deep for anybody's good, and having containers really helps in that space as well. Visual cues matter. We can have clear bins versus closed baskets, seeing the item versus hiding that visual clutter. I tend to use, and this is coming from someone like, remember, I don't like seeing my stuff. I tend to use clear baskets if it's behind a door. I use colored baskets, like that's, not see-through, it's not clear. I use colored baskets when it's not behind a door. And that's because I want to be reducing the visual clutter. But when I use a closed basket, like a colored basket, I'm going to label it. It's really important that we put a label on it and we name it something like these things go here. So we want to let the container match the user. But in my son's bedroom, it's far better if I can actually use clear containers, or at least cloudy containers. Something where he can kind of see from the edge like what it is. If that's not an option, you don't want to go buy new containers. I get it. I don't either. I don't have the money to do that. Something you can do is you can take a photo of the items that's going to go in it. And you can put that photo right there on your basket, especially in your kids' rooms. I understand not wanting to do that out in your main dining room or area. Like, I understand not wanting to, announce to the whole world, what is there. It could look a little tacky. So, this is something where, if you have to use colored bins inside a closet, or you're using colored bins in a children's bedroom, putting a picture of that item, especially if they're younger than being able to read, putting a picture of going, these items go into this basket, can really help with that decision fatigue of where did this thing go and how can I reset it? Labels help, but that really only helps if they can read. But in a shared space, for example, like my, I keep bringing it up, but like my command center, that is the cube organizers, I use colored bins, but having a nice, even just word label on it. My son is 5 and learning his letters, so I can kind of tell him, well, put it in the bin with the S, and start some visual recognition that way. Something where oh, this is the pet supplies, and oh, this is the things that need to go to grandma's house. So you don't need to do a full reset. One room done well creates momentum, and systems don't need to be perfect. They need to be maintainable. They need to work for your family. So today's action item is to pick one shared space. Organize it for the person who is actually using it, or as a community, what is the style that your family is going to do best on. And I want you to pick that space and make a change. One change. You don't even have to redo the whole space. Just make a change, label the baskets, do something, right? And then live with it for a week and see if it's easier to reset. See if the space works a little bit better. And if it doesn't, use that information to make a change again. If it does, wonderful. I am so excited and I want to celebrate with you. Whether it worked or whether it didn't, take a photo of your space or share in words what you did, where you did it, and how it's going. Love for you to share that inside of our free community group. It's on Facebook. You can find the link for that down below. And I'd love for you to share that with us, and we can celebrate with you, or we can help you figure out what maybe needs to change a little bit so that it does work for your real people, not for the Pinterest board, right? If you'd like another episode to listen to, or this one didn't totally make sense, I encourage you to go listen to episode 46 on organizing styles. And if you're ready to do this, but you'd like someone to walk alongside of you, you can book a coaching call so we can tackle your pain points. We can walk through your home. We can figure out where things aren't working, and we can really help you get that figured out to how your home is going to work for you. You can schedule a free 15-minute call with me, or you can do a paid 1 hour. Both of the links are down below, and I'd love to work with you. I'd love to help you tackle your home and figure out what's going to work super well for your family. Until next week, have a great day. Hey neighbor, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds and share this episode with a friend who is knee-deep in their own homestead? Also, please leave me a rating or a review on Apple Podcasts. It thrills me to know that this podcast is helping you. Keep watching those sunsets, friend. I'll meet you back here on the homestead soon for another episode. See ya!